Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. But of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're going to be hearing part of my conversation with actors Adit Dalit and Brenda Dixit discussing their acting journeys. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, impassioned calls for police reform at Tyre Nichols' funeral. Tyre Nichols' family and friends gathered Wednesday for a funeral that blended a celebration of his life with outrage over the brutal beating he endured at the hands of Memphis police and heated calls for police reform. Al Sharpton and Vice President Kamala Harris both delivered impassioned speeches calling on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, a broad package of police reforms that include a national registry for police officers disciplined for misconduct, a ban on no-knock warrants, and other measures. Harris said the beating of Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, by 5 black police officers was a violent act that went against the stated mission of police to ensure public safety. It was not in the interest of keeping the public safe, because one must ask, was not it in the interest of keeping the public safe that Tyre Nichols will be with us today? Was he not also entitled to the right to be safe? So when we talk about public safety, let us understand what it means in its truest form. Tyre Nichols should have been safe, she said. Sharpton said the officers who beat Nichols might have acted differently if there was real accountability for their actions. He also said he believes that if Nichols had been white, you wouldn't have beat him like that. We understand that there are concerns about public safety. We understand that there are needs that deal with crime, Sharpton said. But you don't fight crime by becoming criminals yourself. You don't stand up to thugs in the street becoming thugs yourself. You don't fight gangs by becoming 5 armed men against an unarmed man. In more national news, Biden lawyer says FBI finds no classified documents at his beach home. The FBI searched President Joe Biden's vacation home in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware on Wednesday without finding any classified documents, the president's attorney said. Agents did take some handwritten notes and other materials relating to Biden's time as vice president for review. The search, disclosed by Biden's personal lawyer, was the latest moment for a president who has sought to contrast his sensitivity to rule following with that of his predecessor, who faces a criminal investigation into his handling of classified documents. Wednesday's search, the third for a Biden home or office, was an extraordinary development for a sitting president and made clear that an investigation had simmered quietly for weeks, was continuing rather than fading away, as Biden, who has said he was surprised by an early records discovery, presumably hoped. The attorney said FBI agents spent 3.5 hours searching the home and that no documents with classified markings were found. Biden's attorneys revealed last month that they had undertaken their search of the home without turning up classified materials. The fact the FBI did its own search reflected the Justice Department's determination to retrieve any and all possible classified items rather than rely on assurances that such documents had been located. In more national news, U.S. winter storm causes third day of dangerous icy conditions. A deadly storm system lashed a large swath of the southern U.S. with bands of sleet and snow for a third day on Wednesday, grounding an additional 2,200 flights, leaving hundreds of thousands without power, forcing school closures, and making already treacherous driving conditions worse. Watches and warnings about wintry conditions were issued for an area stretching West Texas border with Mexico through Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana, and into western Tennessee and northern Mississippi. Several rounds of mixed precipitation, including freezing rain and sleet, were in store for many areas throughout the day, meaning some places got hit multiple times. In sports, Tom Brady retires at 45, insisting this time it's for good. This time, Tom Brady says he's done for good. The 7-time Super Bowl winner with New England and Tampa Bay announced his retirement from the NFL on Wednesday, exactly 1 year after first saying his playing days were over by posting a brief video lasting just under 1 minute on social media. Unlike last winter, though, the most successful quarterback in league history, as well as one of the greatest athletes in the team sports, said his decision was final. In entertainment news, Dr. Phil talk show to end daytime TV run after 21 years. Daytime television psychologist Dr. Phil McGraw said he plans to end his show after 21 years in the coming months, but viewers haven't seen the last of him. Dr. Phil was the most prominent spinoff from Oprah Winfrey's show, which once dominated daytime TV. The Texans program debuted in September 2002 after he'd been featured as a regular guest on Winfrey's. And finally, in business news, Fed lifts rate by quarter point and signals more hikes ahead. The Federal Reserve extended its fight against high inflation Wednesday by raising its key interest rate by a quarter point, its eighth hike since March, and the Fed signaled that even though inflation is easing, it remains high enough to require further rate hikes. At the same time, Chair Jerome Powell said at a news conference that the Fed recognizes the pace of inflation has eased, a signal that it could be nearing the end of its rate hikes. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Looking for a reason to feel great about yourself? Just remember that whatever happened yesterday, you were created for greatness. You have greatness in your DNA. Accept nothing less but greatness for yourself. Receive it, believe it, and then go about your day living it. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Edith Delete and Brenda Dixon in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Actors and married couple Edith Delete and Brenda Dixon join me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about what it's been like for them to pursue their goals and dreams. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Thanks for the two of you for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Cyrus. We're excited.
Hey, glad to do it. So, Brenda, I'll start with you ladies first. I want to talk about this experience for you. What has it been like for you, Brenda, to be able to do what you love as an actor, and then, of course, to be able to share that experience with the rest of us?
Oh, my gosh. Great question to start off, Cyrus. Well, look, I feel so privileged to be able to get to pursue this dream. I think there are so many people out there in the world who are suffering and struggling, and what do we turn to? We turn to arts, we turn to books, movies, television shows. So I just feel so grateful that I get to be that face for people of comfort and support and solace. And I think that it's so magical to be able to be an actor and get to jump into all these stories and just give a little breath of fresh air to people. That's kind of what is the most special to me.
Yeah, I love that. And what about for you, Edith? What has it been like for you on this journey to be able to have that dual effect of doing something that you love, but also have people appreciate your work?
Yeah, it's so interesting because the reason I got into it was because when I was a kid and, anytime my parents and I fought, we'd just go into the movies and we'd drive to the movies and we'd watch movies, and that's how we dealt with our problems. And now, circling to today where I'm actually pursuing the career, I think one of the really fascinating things that Brenda and I have been finding is that, I got into it with certain ideas of what it's going to be like, what's acting going to be like, what are the kind of stories I'm going to tell. And then when you start to do it, you start to do so many different things that you never even imagined. And I'm starting to do roles where I wouldn't have never have told you that, hey, I'm going to sing on Broadway and do Broadway roles. And here I am auditioning for Broadway and learning music from Brenda because she's classically trained in singing, and I've never done that before.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this episode of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.